Hi there, I'm Alicia and I am half English, half Polish, if you don't know. I would like to talk about what it's like to be a British person in Poland. So, of course, like I said, I am only half and half. I was brought up by parents who are basically English, if it comes to culture. At home, we'd have more of an English sense of humour. We'd watch English TV. We'd have English books, and my parents talked to me in English as well. My mum talked to me in Polish. So today I'm going to be talking about my own perspective, how I felt moving to Poland. I was very young because I was 5 years old, but I do remember a lot of the first years and also like progressing year by year. Things did change. As I had travelled a lot since being a little child, I didn't really feel like the sense of being in a different country. I was also taught to always be open, to tolerate, I was always around a lot of people from different countries, so I kind of felt like it was quite normal. Culture-wise, there were some things that I hadn't realised were different at first. I did feel a little bit like an alien at the very beginning because, yes, I talked to my mum in Polish, but when I went to school, there were lots of words that I didn't know, and there were lots of things like how people acted and how people ate, things I didn't really recognise, I didn't really know. So, for example, people found it strange if I drank tea with milk. People found it strange if I didn't like a certain salad even. And of course, I wasn't really used to Polish cuisine, but yeah, I was more used to different types of meals. So that was quite hard for me at the very beginning. Another thing was walking down the streets talking to my parents or talking to my brothers. I would talk in English at the very beginning. It took me a few years to actually answer my mum in Polish, and for years I would just talk in English. So that was quite strange because people would literally turn around and stare, because it wasn't that normal back in 2000 or 2000 and something. And nowadays, it depends where you are. Like in bigger cities, Krakow, Warsaw, I feel people don't stare at you so much. Sometimes they do. There will still be some people who find it crazy and abnormal that there are foreigners in their country. So there are a lot of pros of living in Poland. First of all, the countryside, the mountains. You've got both the mountains and the sea, depending on where you want to live. And I personally live in the south of Poland, and I think it actually is the most beautiful part of Poland, but I may be biased. This is where I was basically brought up. Yeah, I feel like Poland has so much to offer. Not only is it a beautiful country, but people are lovely as well. There are, of course, lots of different types of people, and things have changed throughout the years. I think if you asked me like 10 years ago, I would say I hated Poland, despite the fact that I did have best friends, I had lovely people, but I was ready to literally like leave this country and go somewhere else. It's crazy like how I can see the differences throughout the years. When it comes to learning the language, when it comes to learning the language, I of course didn't really have to learn it as such. My mum talked to me in Polish since I was born, and that's how I kind of learned the language. Of course, going to school as well, hearing it around me, and that's actually the best way to learn any language. If you're thinking about learning anything, literally just being in the country, listening to it. Funnily enough, we didn't actually use Polish TV at all. We had English TV and we read English books, which I think was also something that kind of maybe blocked me at the very beginning, because it wasn't something that naturally came to me. Polish, as in Polish wasn't something that naturally came to me. So I think that's why nowadays, even when I'm stressed, I start talking in English. Like if I had a choice of 2 books, Polish and English, I'd rather read the English one, and that's not saying anything negative about the Polish language. It's just easier for me because that's how I was brought up, and that was like the first language I had at home. And yeah, I mean, nowadays people are very open and people love the fact that they can talk to you about how you feel in this country. When it comes to cons, I think Poland is still a little bit more closed when it comes to immigrants, when it comes to tolerating something new, like differences, different things. So I think that might be a con, that they're still a little bit more narrow-minded, a little bit not as open as they could be. I think that is like one of the main differences that I have seen between England and Poland, at least. This is my part of the story, like a short version. And yeah, in the next video I'd like you to hear a little bit about my mum's story, which I think is also really interesting. And another video, the next video, will be about my dad's perspective as a British person in Poland. I hope you enjoyed this little short video. Bye!